excited to have Elana and Emily visiting me today. We are going to talk and bond over a major life topic that's worth contemplating, which is what do we do after we graduate from college, especially in these days when everything is so unpredictable. So Elana has written a book called What Next? And Emily's written a book called Take Flight. So they are both wanting to pour into young people regarding after college, what to do and what steps to take. First question for you guys, what do you feel like are some major life lessons, wisdom you can impart with whomever's listening that is like, I don't even know what to do, I don't even know where to begin?
One of the things is really thinking about using this time to think about what it is that you want to do and to really create a plan. And one thing that the book does and that I encourage people to do is to really think about all aspects of your life when you're coming up with a plan. So there's your career, there's finances, there's wellness, and there's relationships. Those are kind of four of the main things. And to think about where you want to be in 5 years using that plan and thinking about all of those components. And I think this is such a great time that we have right now for reflecting and kind of tuning out all the noise and thinking about where you want to go. And even if things change, you never know where life is going to take you. But if you have a plan and you have a goal in place, you have something that you're working towards.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Absolutely. And to piggyback on that, I think, like you said, this time is very unique for recent graduates, seniors to be thinking they have very specific time. You maybe don't have a ton of other things going on, but to think through what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy doing on the weekends? That's a great place to start. And perhaps you haven't maybe thought of it, but that could actually be something that turns into a job at some point. So thinking about what you're passionate about, again, what do you do on the weekends? What do you enjoy? And then for me, specifically during that season of life, I was very heavy on location. So where is it that you want to be? Do you want to be close to family? Do you want to live in the city? What does that look like for you? And I think starting that process of thinking through those details, like you were saying, will help kind of build the bridge to the next step.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing you both say, okay, take a high level bird's eye view and let's look at the next 5 years and see where we want to go. But at the same time, narrow it down to really look at what do I enjoy doing? How do I want to spend my time? Where do I want to live? I did not think about those things when I graduated college. Mm-hmm. Maybe I wasn't that evolved, but I kind of let life direct me instead of me directing life. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if a lot of recent graduates or soon-to-be graduates are feeling like life is guiding them instead of not empowered to guide their lives.
I'm out in California. I totally agree, Mel. I think that there's a couple of different maybe versions. There's the maybe a little anxious, a little worried about what the next step might be. You can take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. This too shall pass. But I'm also finding that many students are taking hold of their next step, specifically through reaching out to folks, learning, those informational interviews, that good stuff. So there's two versions. Let's lean towards the right.
Yes. What about New York? What's going on over there?
Yes. I think you're right. People are being so creative that I found with virtual networking and really staying connected to people virtually. And I think right now it's one of those times where we all have, to some extent, more time. If you have kids, it might be different. I can't really imagine right now that it's really difficult to have like 2 kids under 2 and to be trying to work and do that. But everyone's circumstance is different. But I do find that some people who are less busy are so willing to help. Everyone kind of wants to use this time to connect. So like you said, this is a great time for those informational interviews, for emailing people. And I think also so much of the job search comes through networking and knowing people. So this is such a great time to engage your network, to reach out to your professors, your friends, your family members, see who they know, check LinkedIn and see your third degree connections at different places and alumni at places, and apply online, but then try to find someone who's actually at the company so that way you make sure that your resume gets seen by a human and gets to the top of that pile.
This applies to a lot of people right now. How often do we just submit the resume? Okay, it's in the abyss of whichever corporation this is, and we don't even know where it lands.
Yeah.
That tip is wonderful. Wonderful.
Thinking through kind of those folks you haven't spoken with in a while. I know that for me personally, the connection, and Mel, you know this story, but the connection for me at the time that I needed to jump out and start my first role after college, the connection came through my parents' neighbor. So really random, but to be thinking, and like you've been saying, to be thinking, okay, who is it, even a third degree, who's in my life that I might know that I can muster up the courage to reach out and share what I'm passionate about, and even just say hello. Just getting on people's radars right now during this time, I think is a great time frame to be doing so, and just thinking out of the box a little bit more. Those second connections, those third degree connects, I think that's fabulous. Super smart.
I agree. So you both are courageous, bold, empowered women in my book. That being said, what if someone's more shy and more timid and introverted? What tips would you give that they might be nervous to reach out to that third prong per se, that they don't really know? Do y'all have any tips on that?
I think one is just realizing that like the worst that can happen is someone ignores your email or says no, they can't help, they're really busy right now, which they could be. That's the worst that can happen. And everyone's been in that place of wanting help and wanting to reach out to people. So I think most people are able to put themselves in that situation and remember they graduated from college and were wondering what was next at some point in their lives, or they were looking for the next job at some point or advice at some point, and people help them. So I think people really do want to help.
And be encouraged when you step out, in faith, and some things might come back around. I remember when I was that age, right out of college, senior in college, I probably sent out 100 notes to folks, and maybe I talked to 20, but 2 or 3 of them.
That's a lot of notes.
I'm talking to you right now, so it's really all about how it can come back later. And I think adding a little spin of thinking the best of people. So if you don't hear back from them during this time, just recognize, like Elana said, they're probably busy. It's all good. It's not you.
Yeah. Okay. So I have this little tidbit that my friend told me, because I would get fearful of rejection. And she said, okay, if you see people in the corner in the room whispering and you feel like they're talking about you, just assume they're planning your surprise party. And I was like,
I love that.
What an awesome mindset shift. Assume the best. Instead of taking it personally and we want to internalize it as, oh, okay, I'm not going to send any more resumes out because no one's getting back to me. Okay, I just assume they're busy.
Yes.
Right. I love that. Wisdom you can share with us that are wanting to step out and take some risks, and there are going to be challenges.
I mean, one of the challenges was the timeline. So I got the book deal at the very end of August. We signed the paperwork like August 31st. And then the first half of the book was due September 23rd. And then the rest was due October 23rd. So
okay,
the challenge
can I just interject
timeline.
and say you did not even have a manuscript?
Just figuring out a system between working full time and writing a book. That was challenging, but I'm so grateful that, people spend years and years writing a book. I spent like 2 months, 3 months. So it is really nice to know that you can do it. It was definitely challenging. Just once you take on a challenge, realizing that you can do it and figuring out exactly how, planning is a big part of it.
And prioritizing, right?
Definitely.
I mean, you were like, oh, I can't go out to eat with you guys tonight. I got to stay home and write.
I know. I've been, I guess, self-quarantining for months.
Yeah, this is like this
was way ahead of the trend.
Yeah. The difference would be I did spend like 2 years dreaming, thinking, getting the courage to figure out how to do all of this. Now, with that, this book is really a labor of love from friends and my husband and family. I mean, those were my editors. Those were my graphic designers. How teamwork is definitely, you cannot do this alone.
That's a good tip. So people that are out there wanting to branch out, it's important to have a support system. And maybe not just the support system, but maybe people that know what they're doing to help you get that moving forward, like your friend from Apple and your book publishing company. right? Because sometimes we want to enlist our best friends who we love because they're so much fun to be with, but we might expect them to do or want to do these tasks that they're not equipped or educated to do. Have y'all ever found that? And then I'm like disappointed, like, why couldn't you do that? And they're like, I don't even know how to do that, right? But you're wanting them to do a certain task or job.
My mom, at one point, she was like, I need to bow out of this editing position. I am now back to being your mom.
Emily, you've talked about information interviews, which I think are genius because they're non-threatening. People like to help. And remember our mindset, we're going to just assume and presume that everyone wants to help us, right? Because why not? We're smart, we're neat, and we're fun. They want to help us. So changing that mindset. You've talked about the 5-year plan, Elana, and everything from prioritizing, time management, looking at your strengths. Give me some more tips that we can give the college graduate that's watching this right now that is lost.
Using this time to really reflect on what it is that you want to do is so helpful. So thinking about your strengths, going back, I have an exercise in the book where it's a stop, start, continue list. So you literally take a piece of paper and you write 3 columns. So stop, start, continue. And you think back on your past summer jobs that you've had, internships that you've had, extracurriculars on campus that you've had, and think about what it is that you really liked and didn't like and what you'd want to continue at the next job. And I think that's really helpful for kind of really honing in. And I think another thing is thinking about what your strengths are. So your hard skills and then those soft skills like being a people person and your interpersonal skills and creativity, those skills as well. And think about what you enjoy doing because that's what you're going to be the most successful at. Usually you're the most successful at things that you actually enjoy, and you usually enjoy the things that you're good at.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways to figure it out too.
Perhaps there's some projects out there that you could actually jump into and help, maybe assist. A lot of companies are hiring online, but apart from that, if you're not looking for a full-time role and you just want to add to your resume, let's say you're a graphic designer or you know how to help with, audio or something for a podcast, whatever it might look like, this is a great time to just be kind of sniffing out, watching, maybe look around on social media, see who's starting something new. And if there's something in line with something that you're passionate about, or if you love what they're doing and you want to come in and say, hey, I'd love to help with a little bit of graphic design. I'm saying this because that's not my forte.
Yeah.
Then, people are going to be eager to say, hey, if you want to come on and help during this time frame, and it might be an exchange. It might not be that you're getting paid, but you're going to be able to have that skill, strengthen that skill, and be able to say in an interview, during the quarantine, yes, I relaxed, I stayed safe, but I also actually assisted with this podcast or assisted my friend in this graphic design endeavor that they had. So maybe just be thinking creatively, not only about what you love, but gosh, even with Zoom calls like this, you could be doing tutorials. There's all kinds of really creative things that you could be doing to help others during this time and then ongoing. Who knows what could come of it.
Start creating the career for yourself that you want now, and you really never know where it'll take you.
Everything you guys are saying is so hopeful and so forward moving, when right now it's easy to feel stuck. The whole interview is you have to start.
Yeah.
Right? I love it. And y'all are 2 success stories of women that did it, got it done. They started, and now how fun we're Zooming, talking about your book. Isn't that fun? Thank you guys for joining me and for bonding with me regarding this life topic that is definitely worth contemplating. Hang in there, college graduates. Hope is right around the corner.
Yes.
Mwah.